Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and this puzzle's from Caleb Norris. I think it's a debut for Caleb, and he's very welcome to the channel and to being one of the constructors to be featured on Cracking the Cryptic. We are very proudly bringing you 2 videos a day forever. Well, it seems like that. It's been for about 5 years and a bit more now since... 4 years, since the beginning of lockdown anyway in 2020. So it feels like 5 years, let's say that. But Simon and I turn up on your screens every day if you want us, and we love having a go at these puzzles that get sent in that are often so brilliant and so mind-blowing, and that's what we'll be doing today. It's another variant Sudoku. We've got some fairly familiar rules on the channel. If you're not with us often, you probably still know killer Sudoku and cages. You probably don't know black dots unless you're a regular, and those are ratios of 2 to 1. You probably don't know green lines. We'll get to all the rules in a moment. Don't forget that there's loads around the channel, as well as the Discord server where you can chat with like-minded souls about Sudoku all day long to your heart's content. You can solve all day long to your heart's content if you get our apps. They are brilliant and great value. There is line Sudoku, killer Sudoku, Domino Sudoku, so you could practice these variants, and many others. They are just top quality apps featuring puzzles by top quality setters, sometimes even by us. And what else have we got? We've got Sven's SUDOKU PAD and our merchandise and our Patreon, where there's always some extra content all the time. We love it if you join that. We love it if you subscribe to the channel, or like the videos, or even if you comment, even if that is just to tell us what we're doing wrong or slowly. We welcome engagement and love to have you guys follow us. So we're going to look now at Caleb's puzzle. 2 is the loneliest number. I think that's because the only given digit in the grid is a 2, and it's all on its own. So normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 goes in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Within a cage, digits don't repeat. I think that's obvious from the first rules. But they sum to the total given. So those 2 add up to 13, those add up to 8. That pair adds up to 16. Adjacent digits on a green line must have a difference of at least 5. So you could put 1 and 6 in these cells, or 4 and 9, but you couldn't put 3 and 7. That digit is considered adjacent to each of those 3, but they don't necessarily have to be different, as those 2 could be the same. Now, digits joined by a black dot have a 2 to 1 ratio, so one is half the other. Now, here it comes. This is very important. All possible black dots are shown, so there's a negative constraint. If those 2 cells, those 2 cells cannot have a ratio of 2 to 1, or there would be a black dot between them. That's how the rule works. And it's going to be very important to remember that, I have no doubt. So give it a try on the first link in the description field under the video. I'm going to start now with 2 is the loneliest number. And let's try and fill in numbers around it to make it less lonely. Okay, I am debating whether to tell you about German whispers first or look at this black dot merging with the 8. I think I'm going to do that. So, this sequence of numbers on black dots, there are only 2 possible sequences. If you think about the numbers that can go on black dots, you will soon work out that there is a sequence 1, 2, 4, 8, which are all double the previous number. And there is a sequence 3, 6, but that ends at those 2 numbers. So this has to come from the 1, 2, 4, 8 sequence, and the middle one has to be 2 or 4. Now an 8 cage needs a 1 in it. It could be 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4, but if you put digits that weren't a 1 in it, they would add up to at least 9. So there's a 1 in one of those, and now we know that this black dot doesn't have a 1 on and must be a 2, 4, 8 combo, and now we know this is a 1, 4, 3 cage, not just because it's got a 4 in it, but because it doesn't have a 2 in it as well. And we have begun. Now, 5, 6, 7 and 9 are in those cells. Wherever 3 is, it can't sit next to 6. If it was on that side, 6 would have to be over here. because otherwise there'd be a black dot between 3 and 6. This cage can't have a 4 in, clearly, but it also can't have an 8 in, because that's a 2-8 pair. So this is a 6-7 pair. Now, the two high digits. Right. I will tell you about German whispers now. You can never put a 5 on a German whisper because there's no number that can sit next to it. If you put a 6 or a 4 on a German whisper line, there's only one number that can sit next to that. 6, for 6 the neighbour is 1, and for 4 the neighbour is 9. Therefore, a cell whose two neighbours see each other can't be a 6 or a 4. And finally, numbers must alternate between higher than 5 and lower than 5 to maintain this difference. There's got to be a 5. There's got to be a 5. Where's the 5 in this row? That's the way to look at it. We know it's not there now, and it can't be on a green line, so it is there. And that means 5's not in those cells. What I was going to say before is that there are two high digits on this line by the alternation of polarity that we've just explained, and they are 8 and 9. Therefore, these are two low digits from 1, 2, 3, or 4. This can't be 5, so it's 1, 3, or 9. Well, I don't quite know which it is. I thought I was going to, but I don't. 16 cage is a 9-7 pair. That's very clear. Now, each of these pairs needs a high digit. Right, one of those high digits is a 6, because we've only got 6 and 8 left as high digits in this box. That 6 can't go here, whose two neighbours see each other, and it can't go here because those two neighbours at least see each other, or those two. So the 6 is in one of these cells. And the 8 has to be 2 digits away from the 6 around this horseshoe bit of line. So the 8 must be up on this level in row 4. And now that becomes a 2, and that becomes an 8. And these digits, the one that is next to, that is not the 6, is next to the 8. And it can't be 1 or 3, so it must be a 2. That is now a 6-2 pair. And this is an 8-1 pair, because the low digit next to the 6 is going to be a 1. So these are from 3, 4, 5. This I don't know about. Not going to worry about that. 1, 3, 4, 2, 6 have been used here. So these digits are from 5, 7, 8, 9. Now that means this one is high on this line, because it can't be 5. This is low, but it's not 2 and it's not 1, so it's 3 or 4. And now this digit can't be 7 anymore. This is low as well, but much less constrained than the one above. That was interesting. There was an 8 on this line, and it must be in column 4. And there's an 8 somewhere down here, but it doesn't have to be on the line, although it's not a difficult digit to place on lines. This is 1, 3, or 9, similar to that. And these are from the same pair, the same trio, but with 5 added in. Don't know. I'm counting high digits in column 4 and not quite getting to totals I need to. There's 1 high digit here and 1 here, and 2 there. So these can't be high. It's probably not that thrilling a deduction. Now, these alternate, but I don't know which way. I don't know which ones are high and which one are low, which ones are low. So this digit sees 3 neighbours. So that cannot be a 3, 4, 6 or 7, because it couldn't have enough neighbours next to it. And these ones can't be from 4 or 6 either, nor can that. That's almost something. Okay, I'm also seeing one of these two pairs, obviously high-low in each case. One of them has a 6 on, and that one must have a 1 next to it. So these can't involve a 1. One of these pairs is 6-1. The other is either 8-2 or 8-3. I'm literally going to pencil mark all that stuff in. They don't call me pencil mark for nothing. There's a 5 up here. This was one of the first things I observed and never told you, never wrote it in. So there's a 5 in one of those two cells. Could this be 4, 5, 6 up here? If not, these cells can't have a 4 or a 6 on for the reasons I told you about earlier about digits whose neighbours see each other, which we sometimes call monogamous digits. We haven't really approached the 2 yet. It's remained the loneliest number in this puzzle, I'm afraid to say. There is a low digit on here. And we've got low there, low there, low there. I should really have been colouring, shouldn't I? Green and purple are for unknown, but some of the places in this puzzle, I do know where the low digits are. So they can go blue, and the higher digits can be orange. Not that many places, but a few. Of course, blue itself is low. So the 4th low is going to go up here. That can't be a 2, obviously. I say obviously, I hadn't noticed before. So if that's a 9 has to be either there or there, because one of these cells is a 4. The 5 in row 5 is definitely in one of these two. I can't quite make any. Oh, and the 5 in box 9 is in one of those two cells. I don't know. Yeah, I'm on the verge of doing something with 5s, but I'm not quite achieving it. Two purples there, and there must be a purple. Whatever purple is, there must be a purple in one of these two. The 3rd one. So if purple was orange, that would be the 4th orange, and this would be blue. I don't know. I've forgotten the black dot rule, hadn't I? Of course I have. Like an absolute muppet, I've forgotten that all black dots are marked. Oh well, less than 10 minutes in, I've remembered. This is probably going to be very, very important. I only remembered it for a brief bit at the beginning of the puzzle, but now I'm remembering again. And that is going to do something for me. When I work out what it is, it'll be useful. So, it means what? That if that's a 1, this can't be 2, and if that's a 3, this can't be 6. What does that mean in turn? 8 can't sit next to 4. Well, it never could by the whisper rule. Okay, maybe I haven't actually missed that yet. Maybe it hasn't mattered yet. I certainly have missed it. 6-1 is one of these two, and the other one is 8-2 or 8-3. That's not prohibited by the fancy rule. Okay, so maybe it hasn't mattered yet, and it's taken me ages to remember it, but here we are. I have remembered it now. I'm just needing to find somewhere where I can actually use it. I mean, I've just worked out in this column there is a low digit here, so these can't be low, which doesn't really affect the case about no unmarked black dots. Yeah, it's really interesting. I had patently forgotten it. It doesn't seem to have mattered yet. And it might have slowed me down because I might have continually case checked things to make sure that they weren't breaking that rule. Watch me desperately trying to make excuses for my slipshodness in the way I'm tackling it. Never mind. It's just Mark rabbiting away. Okay, now where could it help? I still think it must be the thing that I'm not noticing. Maybe not. I mean, there is no green connection that could ever have a black dot on it. I don't believe. So, I'm still thinking that fives matter. Is that very slow of me? Oh, no, maybe let's actually get into this 1, 2 or 3, 6 relationship a bit more. Those have to be from different. So it's either a 3, 2 pair or a 1, 6 pair. Now, if that's 3, 2, this would be an 8 on the whisper. This couldn't be a 6. So it would be 7 or 9. This would be a 6 and this would be a 1. I don't think the black dot is involved anymore. I mean, it's not involved yet in fixing anything that we're looking at. No, I'm even trying to get something out of if that was a 6. Neither of those could be 3, but it's just not interesting. I mean, you're probably looking at some cell where it really matters and screaming at me now, but I can't see it, so there's not much I can do about that. Okay, in this row, we've got a low digit here, probably. A 1 there and a 2 there and a 3 or a 4 there. I just don't know. If that was an 8, that couldn't be a 4. That's just not interesting. I've got a 6, 1 pair. Oh, this can't be 6 because both of those would be 1s. So if that's, and this can't be 6 for the same reason. 6 is definitely in a corner, and therefore 1 isn't in a corner. 1 is in one of these cells in column 9, sitting next to 6. How can this be a 1? Now, I've done something wrong there. Yeah, 6 is not definitely in a corner. 6 is definitely in one of those cells, and 1 is definitely in one of those two. Therefore, I can delete 1 from those two, not from the corner. Now, if that's a 3, this is 8, and that's 1 or 2. If that's a 6, this is 1, and this is 7, 8, or 9. If that's an 8, there's a lot of freedom down here. 6, 1 here would put a high digit there. I don't know. Maybe there's a way of knowing which... I just don't have enough of a count on row 2. Oh, those are both low. That's definite. They're blue. And one of those is low, so this must be high. I think I spotted that ages ago and never did anything with it. Never even noted it. Dolt. So, one of these is high, and that's high, and one of these is high. Surely one of these is high, and now only one of these is high. Oh yeah, well, only one of them can be high. One of these is 9. If that was an 8, these two would have a 7 and 6 on, and they'd also have to have a 1 and a 2 on, and that would end up being 4. And it's quite interesting. If this was an 8, that would be 4. But it's more likely that 8 is on this line. Okay, here's why that's interesting a bit. Because if 8 was on this line with a low digit that couldn't be 4, the 4 in this column would be in one of those cells. Now, if the 4 in this column isn't, no, okay, so there is a possibility that the 4 in this column is on one of these. And that possibility is that this is a 4-9 pair, and that's an 8. And this is a 6-7 pair, and that can't be 3. And this would be a 2-3 pair. Then you'd have to have 4 and 1 on this line, and it would have... You can't do that. That's really interesting. I've just discovered that 4 cannot be over here. Because if that was 4, that would have to be 9, and that would have to be the other high digit on the line, but that's not allowed to be 8. These can't be 4 by the monogamy rule. So one of these definitely is 4. And 8 is down here. Well, no, I don't know that 8's on that line, but the low digit on the line is 1, 2, or 3. And on this line, wow. That couldn't be 4. Yeah, that was the only conclusion I think that was available. Now, oh no, I was going to say 4 is not in those cells, but it's these cells 4 is not in. Oh, bother. I'm getting very stuck, Caleb. It's a clever puzzle, I'm in no doubt about that, but it's not yielding to my methods. Oh, I wrote 1, 2, 3. I was meant to write... No, I shouldn't have written that. There is a low digit in there that's not 4, and there's a high digit, but that doesn't have to be 8, which was kind of what I was surmising. 8 could be here. Maybe I just need to think more about this being 3. Because these would be a 7-9 pair. These would be a 5-6 pair. Six would be down here somewhere. And that couldn't be 6 because of that being 3. That would have to be 2, 6, 1, 8. Oh, and whichever of these is 6 can't sit next to 3 on this side either. Ah, it's so close to yielding something interesting, and I just can't get it out of the puzzle. One of these does go 6-1, but the other one has an 8 and a 2 or a 3 on it. I still think row 2 is very important. We've got 2 purples and a green there. We can call these purple and green. And then these remaining cells are 2 greens and a purple. But I don't know the order. Or, well, do I? If orange was green, then blue would be purple. No, let's start with if orange was purple. That might be more interesting, because then we've used up all the purples in row 2. And these are both green. Then these are both purple. So if orange is purple and purple is high, therefore, one of these purples is 6 or 7. It can't be that one. Right. So these can't be 6. Where is 6 in this row? It's either there. Did we just work out it couldn't be here? Yeah, I mean, yeah, because there's a 6, 7 pair. So 6 is either there or there in row 2. One of these is going to be a really big, significant factor. I don't know what it is. Let's say this was 6. That would be 7. I don't know. Am I really just missing some enormously shout-outable obviousness about black dots? I am terrified that that's what's going on. Even though I've had 10 minutes thinking about that, I've achieved very little in those 10 minutes. That's definitely true. Okay, high digits. We've got 1 there, 1 there, and maybe 1 there, probably 1 there. That leaves 1 or 2 of these to be high. Now, if both of them were from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then both of these would be low. If, on the other hand, these had 2 low digits, they would be 3 and 4. That would be a 1. Where is 2 in this box? It's in one of those 2 cells. Now, it'd be lovely to find out that it had to be there, because then we'd know the polarity of this line, and that would involve this being a 9, and that would feel like a breakthrough. Oh, 2 is in one of these cells, and it's next to that cell, which now can't be 1 or 4 because there's no black dot between either of them. Good Lord, so that's a 3 and that's a 4. And this is now a 9 by both rules that we're operating, and that's a 7 and that's a 9. Let's hope this does something. 6 well, 9 can't be in those cells, nor 7. That's a 5, 8 pair. Also in this box, 6 can't be in those because it would be touching a 3 without a black dot. So 6 is in one of those. Now, that was some progress. This can't be 4. There is a 4 in one of these too. 6 is definitely in one of those, not with 3. That can't be a 9 by Sudoku. Actually, neither can these anymore. So this is, if that was 8, these have to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't know what that does. 3, 9, 4, 2... 5. This is either a 1, which is the only thing it can be if that's an 8, or 6, 7, or 8. So one of these is a 1. And therefore neither of these can be a 6. Can have a 6 in these pairs because they can't have a 1 to go with, because there is definitely a 1 in one of those. So neither of these are a 6. So 6 in the box is in one of those cells. Ah, this is getting close to doing something. And that was a reasonably difficult thing to spot down here. So I'm not ashamed anymore of that. That's a 4, 5 pair. That's much easier to spot. And that's a 3. I should be ashamed, shouldn't I? Now, 3 has come out of a lot of cells in this column suddenly. And these pairs, one of them is a 6, 1 and one is a 2, 8. So these are a 4-5 pair. Is that not useful? It just isn't. That's definitely high, because it can't be 2. And it can't be 1. Ah, so that is definitely high. And this is not 8. This is low, and that's high. So that is a 1 or a 2. And its counterpart is somewhere up here. 6 or 8 there. Oh. We've had 2 oranges already. If they were both oranges, is there a problem? This would be blue, that would be orange. Can't see the problem. 1 and 4 can't go in these cells, so they have to be fitted into this row. 4 is definitely on a green in this row. That is quite interesting. If 4 can't be there, it's in one of these 3 cells in this row. And therefore, one of these 3 cells is 9. And that does at least tell me that 9 is not in these 2 cells, actually, or in these 3, so it's not there. Yeah, one of these 3 yellows is 4. And one of these 3 not purples, dark greens is 9. If that was an 8, 4 would have to be here. That would be 9. 1, 3, 5 would be a sort of fixed thing. Oh. I feel like we're actually getting somewhere a bit now. That's so strange. I felt like we're getting nowhere for a long time, but now I'm feeling a bit more optimistic. Can't really justify that. Okay, 1 and 7 are the missing. Right, 1 is in one of these 2 cells because of that 1-8 pair. So that is a 2-1 pair. These can't have 9 in, or 5. They're a 6-7 pair. That's a 9. This has been obvious for ages. Okay, I'm glad you held back with your shouting at the screen until just recently when it was helpful. Right, 4 can't sit next to 8 because of no black dot. So, purple is low, is blue. Bright green is high, is orange. Oh, okay, now where was that going to be powerful? These are from 2, 3 and 4. These can't have a 6, they're from 7, 8, 9. If either of these was 4, on the black dot principle, that would have to be 6, actually, because 4 couldn't... No, that's not necessarily true. But if either of those was 4, this couldn't be 8. So that would be a 6-7 pair. I thought this was going to yield more when I knew more about the colours here. Serves me right that it doesn't. That can't be 6 because it's next to a 3. That is worth nothing, that deduction. Come on, Mark, keep going, keep going. It's coming. This isn't a 9, this is 6, 7 or 8. Now I learned something about these, didn't I? Or was it all based on a speculation? Maybe it was. That is 6 or 7. One of these is 6 or 7 as well, and one of them is 8. So the high digits here are from 6, 7, 8. The low digits don't include a 4. We did know that. Yeah, we knew that earlier. Oh, stuck again, stuck again. Oh no, that's low. That's determining this polarity. So now yellow and green were nothing to do with high and low. They were to do with 4 being in one of those places and 9 being in one of these. Well, 9 is not here, so 4 is not there. 9 is not here because this is low on the alternation principle. These are high, and that's a 9, therefore. That's quite a big deal. This is 6, 7, or 8. This is also 6, 7, or 8. This is 1, 2, or 3. Since it's touching those, it can't be a 4. Now, one of these is a 4, and one of these is therefore a 9. Well, it can't be here anymore, because of where 9 can't be. So this is a 4, and we can turn it blue. This is a 9, and we can turn it orange. And we know that because this has basically become the last place in the row where 4 can be. That sorts out 5 and 4. 5 up there. Get a bit of blue, bit of orange that I hadn't noticed before. This is low. 1, 2, or 3. Trying not to forget, look, trying not to forget the lack of black dots. That must be a 1, and therefore the 6 in the column is there. And that makes this 8 and 2 at the bottom, and I think this has to be 7 now, and that's not 2. That's also not 5. These are from 1, 3, 6. Trying not to forget the rule, that can't be a 6, 3 pair. So there's a 1 in one of those cells and not here. Probably missed some application of the rule. 6, 1, this is high, that's low, 2 or 3. And that's high, 7, 8, or 9. Now, that's become a 4 by Sudoku. 5, 4, 9, 7, there's clearly something else. That can't be 9 or 7 by Sudoku, so that's 8. That's 1, and now we get the alternation, the polarity, the very bones of the puzzle are being revealed in infinitesimal stages to the slow solver. That's blue. Okay, so this is low as well, 2 or 3. This is high, 7 or 9. In fact, that is high as well. There are 7, 9 pair. 2 is there, so that's a 3. That does 6, 1, 3. We've got more colouring in to do. Blue, orange. Now this is orange, and that's blue by the line, and the orange, 8. No, I was going to write 8 in here, but it could be down here, so calm down. That can't be 8, so now this can't be 3, and it also can't be 1 by Sudoku. It's a 2, that's a 7. This is not 6. This is now 8. That's where 8 went, is it? That surprised me. This has to be 6. It's a 1, 6, 1 line. That's 7, that's 6. This is 3, and look, we've made it so that 6 and 3 aren't touching, which is a relief, because I'm not sure I could have coped with it if I'd found that they were and there was a problem with the puzzle. At this stage, it would have been thoroughly disheartening, let's put it that way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. This is high. Therefore, we can alternate up this line. That's not a 9. It's 1 or 3. This is also 1 or 3, but has to therefore be 3. That's a 1. This is a 2, 4 pair, which means one of these is a 9. And that means 9 in box 2 is there. That's 8. This is a 7, 9 pair sitting under the 2, 4 pair. This is not 7. In fact, that 7, 9 pair makes this a 6, 7. Yay, we're gonna get there. That's a 6. That is not 6, 7, or 8 now. It's not even coloured. Those two are. These can't have a 1 on. That's a 4. 4 gets blue. Oh, that's a 3 now. That's a 5. Right, that's also blue. None so blue. That's a 3, 6 pair. I thought that broke the rule for a second, but it doesn't. The black dot rule, which I've forgotten for some time again. This is a 4. Now that's going to be very useful with the black dot rule in 2 directions. It stops that being a 2, and it stops that being an 8. which is really, really helpful. We get an 8 at the top. 5 and 8 there. We need a 5 at the top. That's a 3. Am I going to need the rule again? No, probably Sudoku does the rest, I think. I will stop before the end and do some colouring before I throw in the pen. There's not much left to do now if I haven't made any mistakes. That's a 1. We've got 1 cell to do. Let us colour like a demon. Those are the remaining blues. These are the remaining oranges. I know people like to see me finish off the colouring. Hope I haven't made any mistakes. And this is a 9, and that is the solution. That's a very clever puzzle, Caleb. Solve counter 1, excellent. I do like the puzzle. It's very clever and it's very entertaining. And I'm very glad Caleb sent it to us. Great stuff. Thank you for watching. Do feel free to try and send us a puzzle if you like what you've come up with and you've had it tested especially. Send it to us and it may appear on the channel one day. Caleb's did, and 2 is now not the loneliest number. It's surrounded by all its little friends. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.